Here's another reason why you want to take control of what you're doing.
Everything kind of funnels into the only winning move is not to play the game.
I don't know, guys. This whole thing sounds pre-recorded.
Welcome to another edition of the Weather Review. And if you are watching this right now before the first of the year, then you have gone to our Patreon account. Jesus, what's going on?
Oh, and we have as our guest tonight, as our guest we've got Fred Garvin, male prostitute. She's going to strike a few seductive poses on the bearskin rug by the fire while we watch enticingly.
You are if you are not watching the recording, the actual video recording, you are missing the dude by his fireplace striking seductive poses.
Good God.
Which I will be haunted by for years to come. But on January 12th, our viewers will be able to see our bonus content 1 week before we post it to the public. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/The Weathered Soul to find out how you can join our Patreon for a measly $3 a month, which will barely pay the bills, but we might be able to get a cup of coffee or something for you. We're going to give you our bonus content, which is our second hour of our live stream, absolutely 1 week before we post it to the public. So, hey guys, how you guys doing? The dude's over there. I don't know what he's waiting for. He's sitting somewhere. Where are you at here in Kansas City? Is that correct there, dude?
I am in Kansas City, coincidentally. I forgot to grab a drink. I actually slowed down my drinking earlier. I have family over, so I slowed down so I wouldn't be a mess for the show. But now
you're a mess.
Now it's time for a drink again. Sit by the fire, have a cocktail. Live the dream.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea. I just turned my fireplace off too.
Guys, this is the last show of the 2024 season, man. How you guys doing? How was Christmas for you guys? I mean, you know, we're all sitting around here. We just had the senator from Minnesota on, Julia Coleman. It went really, really well, and we're just really thankful for having her here. But we all just got done with Christmas and all that good cheer. And I'm fat, man. I'm probably about another 5-6 pounds fatter because I ate a lot of cookies, man.
See, I lost 6 pounds because we were out helping and feeding the poor and helping the homeless.
Oh yeah.
While you were feeding your fat face out there in California.
Absolutely.
Jason and me were out there handing out dollops of gravy to homeless people in the shelter at the shelter.
Yep, we were.
While you were sitting there having turkey and ham, you were just dolloping out gravy. Yep. Is that it? Gravy and bowls?
Yeah. I mean, you know, then it's not like they're working. It's like, here's some gravy and a straw. See, get over it.
Here's the thing, though, is that I was handing out gravy. Ken was handing out baby gravy.
Oh, there we go. See, now we totally dove into the depths of of what our podcast is really on. Hey, I got this nice little chair, dude. Can you notice whenever I move around, no more squeaky. The old podcast chair is now gone. I've got a nice little podcast chair now.
We always thought that was your hips.
Yeah,
it was that bad hip job that I got.
Yeah, you had the boomer squeak.
Everybody drinking tonight. I got a little bit of Blanton's here that I'm finishing up.
Oh, by the way,
on my nice frosted SCG cup, compliments of horribledesigns.com. If you want some cool stuff, then you need to go to horribledesigns.com because he'll do all kinds of this stuff. Like here, he's got all kinds of zany stuff that he does. And man, just thank you, Jason, for doing these, man. My boss loved this stuff.
Sweet.
Just for the future, if you're going to talk about what you're drinking, just make sure to explain to the listener what it might be, because not everybody knows that whatever is whatever.
Blanton's is a single malt malt bourbon is basically what it is. And it's kind of like one of the best bourbons that you can get. I mean, it's, you know, it's 149. Comes in a real fancy bottle, but I think the bottle is what makes it most expensive. Other than that, it's a, you know, it's a good $50-$60 bourbon. So that's what I'm drinking tonight.
For me,
I'm gonna go get a drink. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
You get a drink. Yeah,
I'll leave the fire for you.
In the yeah, it's lovely. In the world of January's coming up, which of course is the
Rush.
5th anniversary of the death of the best drummer that's ever lived, Neil Peart. And
Ringo Starr? Ringo Starr died?
Huh?
No, Neil Peart.
Yeah, Neil Peart, I said. See? Rush, Neil Peart. So anyway, I'm having, it's a little Four Roses. Well, it's actually a lot of Four Roses and a little ginger ale.
There you go. There you go.
Rush has a beer now, but we can't get it down here yet.
What's it called?
It's like Rush Pilsner or some shit like that, but it's a Rush beer. And if you go on Instagram or YouTube and watch their ads for it, because it's Geddy Lee, the bass player, and Alex Lifeson, the guitarist, going through just being complete fools, kind of like what the three of us would do, or the four of us would do if we had our own brewery, walking through people, telling what the brewery does.
We would be out of business in a week. Don't do none.
No, we're serious capitalists. We'd be able to you know, test and make sure, but not test too much.
Yeah, not just too much. Don't do it. Don't do any real stuff.
And that would be interesting if the four of us had a brewery, because you and Bruce would be talking to everyone, just would do the work for me, and I wouldn't have to do anything then. You guys would be all talking.
True story.
You would be the worker because you would be doing nothing. Because
I'd be doing many other things. Yes. Many other things.
I think what for the listeners and watchers out there, and viewers, what he's referring to is when Bruce came out to the Back to the 50s car show, largest car show in the country, and we walked around for a few days at that show, and it was Bruce, myself, and Jason. And Jason said 7 words in 2.5 days because he couldn't get. He would have probably only got 6 in, but I was being quiet for a minute, so he was able to get the 7th in because me and Bruce won't shut up. And at that show, I have a tendency to talk to people, and so does Bruce. And you can explain this, Jason, what it was like to walk around with these two schmucks that you had to hang around with.
It was great because I didn't have to, because I am a serious introvert. So doing stuff like this is out of my norm, but I do it. But having you guys do all the talking for me is fantastic.
Jason was very helpful pushing the Chevelle out of the mud that we got stuck in.
Yes, that was a very some of the highlights of our year was definitely going to that show. It was fantastic. I had some of the greatest times of my life this year being there in Minnesota and Wisconsin. It was I mean, a couple of things. I mean, number one, Bruce, I got to meet you guys. Number one. We've known each other for 4 years, something like that. Never met. And
you got to see the Niagara Falls coming out of the Minnesota sky.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I would have to say that the Street Machines, I think, was better than Back to the 50s.
Oh yeah.
I like Street Machines
this year, Bruce. Yep. Back to the 50s is fun. It's an amazing show. I love it. The Street Machine Nationals is a younger crowd, and there's a lot more going on, like with people doing stuff with cars. You know, there's an autocross. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. There's an open header cruise where everyone takes their, opens their headers off, and then like 200 cars are driving around with open headers in the fairgrounds. It's awesome. So you'll have to come to that one.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm gearing my my efforts towards fixing my truck and getting it ready to go out there and do what I need to do to get it out there so I can get that thing freaking painted root beer brown. So
you are going to drive everybody batshit crazy with that truck. A rust-free square body in Minnesota is
unheard of.
Absolutely unheard of.
Yeah. Well, maybe I get top dollar for it.
Oh, you get big bucks for it out here.
Yeah,
you probably get double what you would want to get for it.
Right.
Well, that'd be 36,000 because right now my not selling at price here in California is 18, and I got people going like, "Oh, I'll get it for 18." I'm like, "No, can't have it." But one of the other highlights that I had when I was out there was the fantastic thing that I got to go see a friend of mine who lives in Wisconsin. Very, very old guy. He's in his 80s now. Goes to our fishing trip that we've been doing for over 55 years now. And it was just a pleasure seeing him. And nobody else in our group has been able to go to see him. There's probably one other guy that might be able to see him. And but it was just fun going to see Gary. Gary, if you're watching this, man, it was a pleasure, being out there in Wisconsin. Man, we miss you at the fishing trip. But, I know once you get up there, sleeping on the ground isn't like the greatest thing in the world to do. But, man, we miss you out there, and it was fun being just out there in Wisconsin.
You can pass out on the ground, but the ground is not for sleeping, Bruce.
Not at our age, no. No. Not at our age. I mean, back when we were in our 20s, yes, you could. It's like back, excuse me, but back when you were in your 20s, you could actually, especially with Christmas passing, you could actually sit down on the ground and wrap presents and get back up without needing any help. When you're in your 40s and 50s, and like Bruce in your 150s, you can't sit down and wrap presents and then easily get up without hearing something crack, or in Bruce's case, your hip falling off or cracking or an arm detaching or something.
Well, I'll have to disagree with you. I'll have to disagree with you there, because I'm in very good shape. So, I mean, I've been doing my stretches, going to the gym every day, and doing all those stuff that I'm supposed to do. I'm still able to get up off the ground and do those things that I can still do. Thank God, still do.
I still contemplate when I drop something if I really need that thing anymore. I'm usually just kick it under the couch.
That's why you have kids. That's why I have little kids, because they pick
and
up.
I don't. Well, once the kid's gone, though, you realize you're like, I'll find that later. And I don't have nearly as far to go to the ground as any of the three of you freaking guys do, because you're all like 6'10".
I'm 6'2".
I'm this little runty 5'11", Spud Webb. That's Bruce. That's a sports thing. He was a quarterback on the Boston Bruins.
I know who Spud Webb is.
I know you do.
Yeah, I do.
Dude, he was a hockey player that got the most touchdowns, right?
What?
Spud Webb was a hockey player that got the most touchdowns for home runs, right?
Yeah, with the Bruins.
Okay.
I said that if you were listening. Jesus Christ.
You talking. I don't listen to you talk anymore.
What?
Nobody listens around
here. What? Your what hurts?
We're 13. Anyway, Bruce, you apparently had some sort of structure you wanted to bring into the show this evening.
I really had no structure.
This is just the time to allow that structure to begin. Would you like to talk about any topics, sir?
Yeah, I really didn't have any structure for the show, other than the fact that I was taken aback that we didn't have our guest on for the second hour, but that's understandable because she's a mother and a senator. I mean, she's very, very busy. I'm very impressed on how she's able to juggle everything that she's got to be juggling on. But yeah, we've been revamping the show. We're going into our this is the 47th episode, and very quickly coming up on 1 year. We got some big changes coming up, and one of the big changes is that we have a Patreon page, and we are actually going to ask you for money. We need your money. I mean, everybody here will agree that we need money, right? Everybody needs money, but this show needs your money. Buy us a cup of coffee, spend $3 to get the bonus content right after the live show that we do every 2 weeks. But the dude is going like this. He's doing some sign language there. He needs to say something. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we, the presenters here on this fine bit of programming, would just like to sit down and have you buy us a beer. Maybe buy us a round of beers. We would enjoy that very much. We're working on, as Bruce was saying, a way that you can buy us a beer. And the idea will develop more and more as time goes on. But in time, we collectively can sit down, and once you're a member of the Patreon page, we can all sit together and have a beer. And depending on how things go in the future, if the Patreon thing works out the way I'd like it to, occasionally we might even have people on and have fun with us on the show while we're having a beer together. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time. what do they say? Getting in on the ground floor. Is that the phrase?
Yeah, grassroots, getting on the ground
This is
floor.
the time to get in on the ground floor
Yeah.
of what will be
an
amazing experience. You saw how the show started.
Buy low, sell high. This is your opportunity. Like Bitcoin.
We have plenty to say about Bitcoin coming up after the first of the year. That's for sure.
Jason.
What I think we maybe should do for funding is we do this thing where people pay us so that we don't send them pictures of Bruce naked. So if you don't want to see Bruce naked, then send us money, and we won't do that to people then.
He's got some epic tattoos, though. He's really...
Oh, no. I got to go. Bye.
Yeah.
I got to go gouge my eyes out.
Anyway, go to patreon.com/weathered soul. Patreon.com weathered soul to find out all about just getting into our first tier. $3. Come on, $3.
Might I for a moment, Bruce?
Yes, go ahead. You might.
It's not just because that we're all greedy capitalists, which we of course are.
We are.
But if you're a greedy capitalist, what you want to do is take what you have and turning into something more. Because in the immortal words of Saint Ted of the Nugents, he said, we're Americans. If some is good, more is better. What we're looking to do is we're really looking to grow the show. And to do some of the stuff we need to grow the show, it's going to require some more equipment. It's going to require some advertising and something. And up to this point, there's been no money made. And we're not looking to line our pockets with stuff. So I will throw the caveat out. Yes, buy us a beer, buy us a coffee, get on our Patreon page. We also have a Facebook group that we haven't done a lot with. It will probably be make that as a private Facebook group that you'll be able to go in and discuss things with us directly. So it's not just for the fact that Bruce needs new parts for his truck so he can drive it out here. That is true. That doesn't. So you can earmark it. If you Patreon page in the comments, but this is for Bruce's truck. His square
it comes
body.
out of my wife's allowance. It comes out of my wife's allowances.
But Bruce has put this on all himself, and he has been generous with the rest of us. And it would be nice to as we grow this to make a better show for you guys, so you'll be able to enjoy it even more.
Might I say a better world? Might I say a better world?
A better world.
Get carried away.
Yeah, let's not get crazy.
Little steps.
Yeah.
Let's start with little steps.
After the first $100 we make, I'm going to make Bruce eat mayonnaise ice cream.
Oh my God. Which is not bad. Which is really not bad because I have mayonnaise on my greens. I have mayonnaise on my broccoli.
You top it with mustard. Awesome.
My Brussels sprouts. My family just continually say that I don't like vegetables because I put mayonnaise on them. But that is a direct response to my mother, who always put mayonnaise on everything. So
mayonnaise. A lot of people around here.
It's a lot of it's genetic. The problem you have is genetics.
It's genetics. It is genetics.
So
it's genetics
can I tell you guys a joke about mayonnaise?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay.
Now I'm scared.
Do I need to get back down by the fire again for this one?
No.
I am now scared. Do I need to get naked?
So at the Last Supper, Jesus held bread and said, "This is my body." He passed it out for everyone else. He held up a glass, said, "This wine, this is my blood." And he passed it out for everyone. And he held up a jar of mayonnaise, and they said, "Hold up, we're done."
Oh, gosh.
And then Farmington was evaporated by lightning.
Yes.
Jason no longer.
A talking pillar of salt is what we have. Eaten by worms.
Oh my gosh. So let's talk about the news. Let's talk about something. I want to know, number one, I'm going to query the guys. All right. So we just went through the COVID thing, and we just proved to ourselves, because we've had Harkos on this show before. He used to be a co-host, and he continually tells us over and over again, because we're still in good chat with him, and we get good chat from him, that we were so quick to give up everything that we had for COVID, even nice, respectable conservative Republicans and independents and libertarians and the leftist Democrats for sure, just gave up everything they had because this great big scary virus that killed less than 0.1% of the people in the world came in and you just decimated the whole place. And now we have bird flu. Here we go. Bird flu is in the air. So after 65 people contracted H5N1 bird flu in December, former Trump COVID response director, Dr. Deborah Birx, has been brought into the CNN primetime to warn America at this cusp of a new pandemic. Let's listen and see. Let's see if we can listen to her here. Hold on.
We did not learn from the COVID.
But it sounds like it doesn't. It sounds like from what you're laying out, you don't think this country has learned from the COVID pandemic.
Our
And
agencies,
there's not a sense of urgency right now.
Our
that
agencies
should match the
are
moment.
making the same mistakes they made with COVID.
Let's stop right there. Go ahead. Let's hear.
The hell are they talking about? It's bird flu. It happens every year.
Yeah.
Cats can get it pretty easy. Sure.
Everybody here who got a shot, raise their hand.
A shot of what?
For COVID.
Oh.
No. Okay.
You told me to.
Everyone who quit their job because they were told to get that shot, raise their hand.
Oh, I didn't have to. No.
Nice.
No. I had
here's everyone's heard the story, but the only reason I got the shot was my dad at the time was going to come up and visit, and he was 90 years old, and he's like, he just bought onto all of it. And he's like, if you guys don't get the shot, I probably just could have lied to him, but I went and got the shot.
Ken, I understand your story. I understand, and I probably would have done the same thing you did. Then he didn't come up, and I was sick for 6 months. Yeah.
So I went down and yelled at him. Then he died, and I felt bad.
I'm not judging anyone for getting the shot, and I'm not going to pat myself on the back for not getting the shot. We were in a new time. It was a new experience that we did not or had not experienced before. So we each had to make our own personal decisions about how we were going to handle it. As I'm going to go out on a limb here and call us reasonable adults. As reasonable adults, we file this away for future reference so that in the future, now, Bruce, we're here. Some of us are kind of reasonable occasionally.
Right. My bad.
Well, I didn't say all the time. I'm just talking about, occasionally we'll make a reasonable choice. I don't fault anyone for getting even a number of shots. It's one of those personal decision things. Ken, in your case, that would have been tough because I have Army friends of mine who, big, strong, hunting men who I thought could handle anything, and COVID just killed them.
Yeah.
It was one of those diseases that was so very individualistic that it affected all of us very differently.
Yes, it did.
So many, my neighbor passed away from COVID, not because he had COVID, because they stuck a fucking respirator down his freaking throat.
Yeah, he got intubated.
Gave him the remdesivir or whatever the fuck it was, and it killed him. I mean, this guy was strong dude in his late 30s, left behind, wife and kids. They're now gone because, the breadwinner's gone, and they went through, a round of people trying to move in their house and stuff like that, and they just couldn't do it. Many people that did die died unnecessarily because of the over response of I'm going to say right out, Trump haters. They hated Trump. They hated anything to do with Trump. They hated anything that Trump said, and whatever Trump said that he was going to do, they did the fucking opposite because of hate.
Well,
so
This is a good opportunity to take a big step back. Well, this is one of those times where you take a big step back and you just see what happens. You make an effort to objectively assess the situation and you see what happens. And from here, what do you think is going to happen next time? Same thing, probably.
Same thing. They're going to try different tactics. But I was working in healthcare at the time when the whole COVID scare started, and it really perturbed me a lot to what they were doing and the numbers they're pushing out. And I knew a lot of them were fake, that they weren't real, especially when I quit, when they said that either you get the shot or you're no longer employed. So I said, fine, fuck you, I'm quitting. And there was so many people I knew that had wanted to quit, and they said that only 25 people quit. I'm like, that is a load of bullshit. There was a lot more people, so I knew that their numbers were drastically overdone. They only said 25, and there was well over a few hundred that had quit. And I did catching COVID once, and I was probably one of the lucky people because it was, to me, it was like having mono. It was it made me tired for an entire week, and that's all it did.
Yeah. Well,
why after all the evidence that has come out with the vaccines and the people that have died unnecessarily, Joe Rogan with the ivermectin and
he died?
No, and the ivermectin and the hydrochloric.
Not Joe Rogan. Those two look very similar, I know.
Why is the CDC doubling down, number one, on these stupid vaccines and boosters? And then they're going to double down again and
Bruce,
try
you
to
realize, Bruce,
it's control.
Bruce, you're the only person in the country, the only state in the country that hears about that. That is not even a news story or anything anywhere out here. We don't hear it anywhere. No one's even talking about updated their shots, and that's people get laughed at when they talked about it. Yeah. You're in California where you're getting this stuff still because you're getting it fed through your news cycles. National news isn't paying any attention to this shit.
How about you, Jason?
What? About what?
About the bird flu, about the CDC, about the vaccines, about the boosters, about all that.
The CDC can cram it right up their butt and spin on their fingers.
Do you know what we do with birds in South Dakota?
You shoot them.
We shoot a lot of them, so we're not really worried about the flu here much.
And that is one of the reasons why I want to move to South Dakota, because bird hunting out there is way better than Minnesota.
Well, there's a lot of things, but that's one of them.
Yes.
Like many things, it's really long, the list.
Well, and the other thing, you could burn
bourbon. It's the bourbon.
You can bird hunt in South Dakota by the windmills. You just stand there, and they fall in your hands. And you'll get eagles and hawks and stuff. You don't have to have pigeons and stuff like you have in Minneapolis that you're trying to shoot. They're just, good meat-eating birds.
I'm sorry, Ken, where?
In South Dakota.
Oh, let me just...
All the windmills there.
Let me bring you up to speed. Oh, that's funny you say that. If you were to get on 35, drive down to 90, and then turn west towards
South Dakota is where
right wing Holy Land.
Yes.
You would see, especially if you do this after dark, as you're driving, just north of 90, it's a sea of all at the same time, red blinking lights.
Yes.
And then you get to the South Dakota border, and there are windmills that are almost on the border.
Yeah.
And they stop because South Dakota won't let them build windmills there. There are no windmills in South Dakota yet.
I love it.
See?
They're at the fucking border.
Yes, I love it.
Now,
that's why it's always windy in South Dakota, because the wind those propellers keep blowing the wind over there. Actually, they're not windmills. They're trying to keep the snow out. That's what they're doing, and it's working so far this year.
Yeah, I've been in South Dakota a few times. I've driven through small towns like Aberdeen, which super small. But I love the speed limits out there. It's like the speed limit's 80. And it's like,
well, just so you know, the sign says 80, and we mean it, something like that. But they don't, because I was driving here to Kansas City, and I was doing more than 10 over.
More than 80.
I always, like in the Lincoln, I would have the cruise control set at 98 driving out to Sturgis. Never a problem.
It's one of those where, and because I have a really good radar detector, so I don't worry about it much. What they're looking for is the idiots in the Ferraris that are driving and acting like idiots.
Yep.
Or motorcyclists driving in huge groups going too fast. But if you're driving reasonably and you're doing too much, they don't seem to care.
Nope. There's no care.
Unless you look like you're trafficking drugs.
Yes.
And then you're going to be on the side of the road for hours.
You've seen my Lincoln. I've got a black Lincoln with tinted black windows. I look like I'm moving drugs.
The mobster.
No, you look like you're moving dead bodies.
Well, I still think the Ken
am doing that.
I still think the Ken is in the witness protection program, and we really don't know Ken's real name or anything like that. So, I mean,
I'm Irish. He's
from Boston.
I got no freaking Italian in me.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Let's talk about the most annoying people in 2024. And guess.
Well, before we talk about myself, I'm going to go get a drink.
There's a Fox News opinion piece out there today. 2024's most annoying people, left and right, can agree on at least two of these. But we're going to go to the top. Well, actually, we're going to start at the bottom. Let's start at the bottom. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of my list here, and let's see. Oh, actually, it's like 5. Hold on.
Is it what you're looking? Is it bad that every bottle that I buy is like the absolute home wrecker size? I don't buy any small bottles.
I do the same thing. I went to Costco here in Kansas City and I bought 2 175s.
Actually, it's the top 5.
Ken, is that the stuff you had at the
yes
machines?
I always have this.
Oh, that's
you did like this. It was good. 4 Roses. I highly recommend it. It's made of alcohol.
There we go. What is it called? I'm sorry. What is it called again?
4 Roses.
4 Roses.
4 Roses bourbon.
Lucas. So
you'd even like it.
Whatever, dude. I can't do it. I can't do it.
It actually is easier to pronounce after you've had half the bottle.
But I can't believe it. So we got 5 people we're going to talk about here, or five different areas that we're going to talk about here. And number 5, most irritating, and to me, this would be the number 1 most irritating, but our counterpart of our morning show, because we are the Weathered View in the morning on X. You can get that every morning at 6:30 or 6 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's leftover time for some of you guys. You can go over there and get us. And we do a show every day called the Weathered View. Well, the number 5 most irritating person or persons is The View.
Oh,
the writer goes, if I could write a column about the horde that is The View or 10, I was all set to just how truly awful co-host Sunny Hostin, as for the managing to outshine her coworkers, being the most despicable bozo on the ABC clown card. Hostin called the GOP morally bankrupt and blamed Hispanic support of Trump on misogyny and sexism. And she also advocated for families to boycott Trump supporters at holiday time because it's more of a moral issue. Yes. But they had to turn it up a notch because fellow hosts Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar got discussing why they haven't seen Vice President-elect J.D. Vance recently, and Behar claimed that he's planning the presidency when they get rid of Trump.
Well, they're right about all of that, and Sunny Hostin's really good looking, so that's okay.
I don't think she's all that good looking. I'm sorry, man.
But you know guys, most gay guys don't, but she is really good looking.
I think the fact that Sunny has been stopped twice and had to apologize or backtrack and rephrase her words because ABC Legal had come into the scene and said, Sonny, you need to read this.
You're taking it out of context. It's because her family owns slaves. And she needs to be punished for that. This is her reparations. She needs to kiss the ring of the Trump to reparate her slave-owning roots. Well, that wicked woman.
I don't think that there's any way, no way that any one of them kissed the ring of Trump. I don't think there's one of them there. Even the most conservative one there. What's the conservative one there? I can't remember the name.
I think they already did in 2014 when he was on there, and they were all like, "Oh my God, all Trump's here. He's so pretty."
Hey guys, let's have a little conversation quick. Can I take us off on a tangent?
Oh, you want to change the show?
No, I just want to go off on a tangent for a second. Somebody mentioned reparations.
Hit it.
What about reparations? We stopped reparations here in California.
That's too
bad. We voted for Proposition 36.
You hate my child, the descendant of slaves, my children.
Well, for what it's worth, my family came to the United States after Civil War.
Yeah. So you can write Logan a check, my daughter, and Tucker. We'll write one check. They'll split it.
My family came after.
Right, but we were here. Our people, my family's people, were here during the Slave Act. We've traced the roots all the way back to that. So we need actually the three of you, if you would write a check to my kids and appreciate. I don't personally need anything because I'm Irish and we got over our slavery. But
well, I'm Irish too.
Me too, a little bit.
If you want to look back at ancestry, I can show you.
When did they let Jason's full of shit because the Russian mob enforcers do not allow Irish people among their midst.
Can I break in just?
I'm not Russian. I'm so little Russian. It's unbelievable.
The Irish decided not to try to conquer the world with war. They conquered the world with a different means.
Redheads.
Horizontally.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's drunk flat.
Everyone's got a little bit of Irish in them because at one point, half of them had a little Irish in them.
Well, hell, I'm McGee. I mean, my last name is McGee.
Yeah, but you're one of the Mexican McGees.
It exudes Irish.
La 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 McGee. Yeah, you know that song. Remember?
Reparations is over in California. In fact, there was a couple of girls that went shoplifting on a shoplifting spree down in San Bernardino, and they decided to go to multiple shops and just pick stuff up and put it in their bags and walked out like they didn't have a care in the world. And I guess somebody actually called the cops, and they followed them all the way into their house and apprehended them at their house and got them in the car. And all of a sudden they're driving down the road, and the charges that were being pressed against them were all felonies.
I heard about that.
And one of the girls in the back of the car said, "We just committed a felony."
Yeah, they know what that is.
Yeah, they know what that is. So reparations is now over in California. The party's over, guys. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Us as stupid Californians who voted for Proposition 40, I believe it's 42 or 47, a couple of years ago, that kind of we took some of those bad things, when we lessened the crime on them, and that just backfired on us. And it backfired on us so bad that I can't even go and get toothpaste without looking for somebody to unlock the case for me, because that's what I got to do to get toothpaste now. They're locking up my toothpaste.
See, and this is why you should come to Wisconsin. We don't brush our teeth here.
See, now in Minnesota,
we're like England.
If you go to stores, you have to get the case unlocked to buy lube. Because the government is going to do you up the ass.
Yes, they're going to do you up somewhere like that.
It's called Walls paste, actually, over there.
Walls paste?
Yeah.
But dude,
if you look on the shelf behind Jason's head, you can see he's got a case of it up there.
No, now I'm gonna have that
He's
image
used
stuck
to
in
the
my head
state just
for.
screaming him so hard.
The answer to dude's question, or the statement that he made, is that it doesn't matter. You are WHITE. You're white, and it doesn't matter what time you came here or when your ancestors made landfall. So sorry.
Do you still have ancestors overseas? Because they might know something. They should send a check too.
Yeah.
I still have ancestors in Ireland, and I still have ancestors in Finland.
My 23andMe came back saying that I do have some African in me. That sounded bad. I have some.
That's what she said.
I have some African DNA.
You got some heritage.
Not getting any better.
You got some heritage there.
Is
Don't worry
it? I haven't done
Europe.
I'll just reel out enough African that I have just to beat y'all. So don't worry about
I have more African DNA in my background than what's her name has Indian.
Liz Warren has Indian, yeah, for sure.
She's probably blacker than she is Indian.
Well, she might be.
The number 4 person.
I'm sorry, who is number 5?
When it comes to race baiting, MSNBC host Al Sharpton.
Oh God,
does himself going all the way back to promoting the Tawana Brawley rape hoax, and then there's his anti-Semitism. But 2024 put him on the map for something new: allegations of pay for play. It came out after the election that Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign, he gave $500,000 to Sharpton's National Action Network. That might be fine, except it happened right before a super nice interview.
Pick me. So this is the first thing that Sharpton's done since the 80s, and I'll tell you about the 80s, that I respect him for. He milked Oprah for Kamala for $500,000.
TMI.
That's not a better image. That's not a better image.
He milked her for $500,000. I've
milked a lot of people, but I've never milked Camel.
There's a story now. There's a documentary called Good Hair, and Chris Rock did it. It's about hair, black people's hair, and it's a hilarious documentary. Al Sharpton's in it. He's talking about hair. And he told the story about when him and James Brown went to the White House to meet Reagan.
Oh, that's a party. That's a party Reagan. I'd like to sit through.
And James Brown was telling Sharpton, this is what you got to do with your hair, man. You can't show up at the president being all nappy and shit. This is how you got it, because they flat iron and straighten it. And it was fantastic. Since that story, this was when I heard Al Sharpton milked that campaign for $500,000 and then basically did nothing for them. I was like, see, even he knows she's not black, but he's taking her money. I love that. I thought that was fantastic. That race baiting freaking lunatic. He's thrown race relations back 100 years.
Oh, and yeah.
It's like, to watch that happen, I'm like, it couldn't happen to a nicer group of people.
Well, he's another one that has had his picture thrown all over the internet of being all chummy and pally with
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah. Of course. And when it works for him, of course.
Yeah, amazing. Shall we go on to number 3, guys?
Sure.
Let's go on to number 3. The world will only have one Taylor. We know what we're talking about, huh? We're talking about Taylor.
My cousin.
Taylor Swift is easy to admire. Swift and her football star boyfriend, Travis Kelce, she was both of them had successful years. Her Eras Tour did a great celebrity net worth, and now she's worth $1.5 billion. Her boyfriend remains one of the top tight ends in the NFL, and his team is favorite of fans and referees, of course. And they're probably going to go to a 3rd straight Super Bowl. The problem is that
where am I, Bruce? Where am I right now?
We're at Taylor Swift.
I mean,
excuse me. You're in Kansas City right now.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're in the midst of what's going on with Travis Kelce. Go ahead, Jason. You have something to say.
I know a lot of conservatives really hate Taylor Swift. They hate her. My daughter is a huge Swiftie, and I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with it because as an artist, yeah, she's good. One thing that I give her credit for is that she treats her staff exceptionally well.
Exactly.
She does that really, really well. And I give her props for that. While other things about her might be annoying, the fact that she obviously doesn't, all her songs are about bad breakups. So she obviously has no clue on how to choose the right guy and why she supported Biden. But besides all that stuff and what makes her annoying, she treats her staff exceptionally well. So I give her props for that.
There is all kinds of propaganda out there of her being a devil worshiper and all this other crap. What do you think about that?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? She's a singer. Who cares?
Yeah.
She's a singer. I mean, there was a lot of stuff about that regarding Alice Cooper too, about him, biting off the bats and all that shit. And I like Alice Cooper. It goes with anybody who is famous will get droves of this stuff. As a person, is she? I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, she treats her staff really well. She seems to do good with her fans, which speaks a lot too. So. I don't know.
Her music is it's the Pringles potato chips of music. It's absolute horseshit garbage musically, and I have nothing but respect for her for taking this horseshit garbage, being beautiful, gorgeous, bubbly, and being an excellent, outstanding entertainer, and has made herself a billionaire by being a good businesswoman. I don't take any of that away from her.
No.
I hate her music. It's garbage like most things is now. Yeah. But it's, she just needs to shut her mouth about politics. And I think she probably will next time.
Yeah,
she realized
she already
lost a couple hundred. She's lost a couple $100 million in her pocket.
Yeah.
From coming out.
Do any of you know what group recently Alice Cooper joined? There's a new group of people he's recently joined. Anybody know what it is?
No, what is it?
He's now a Christian. And I don't mean like he's not like I'm not like, oh yeah. No, he's if you listen to him talk about it, he will, if you hear him talk about it, he's not he's a I am in this, I believe this is the way we all
I always thought he was.
His father is a pastor or was a pastor. He is the son of a pastor.
Well, I've known some PKs. They were absolute hellions.
Oh, yeah. I've known a bunch of them. Believe me.
which proves Jason's point.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying.
Time to find
well, I come from the era where you could go to a concert and it was $20 to go see some of the biggest names that ever
See, again, you live in California. $20 was a lot of money. I saw Rush.
I
saw Leonard Skinner.
$13 when I saw Boston live. It was $22.
I saw Leonard Skinner, Peter Frampton, the Outlaws, and a bunch of in Santana, all at the same day in the same place for $20.
I think I saw Ministry live for $20 back in 1995. Ministry. I was in high school.
Who?
And I got
boomers don't know who that is.
Stoned out of my mind at that show because there was so much weed being passed around.
I never got high or drunk at rock shows because
it was at the Bradley Center.
To go to them. I never got. I'm at a Rush show and I never got high. It's great. I went to see the Who. I saw them.
Who?
They were pretty. The Who.
Who?
Who?
The Who. Yeah, the Who's on third base. Fantastic.
Keep going, guys. You're not done yet, are you?
Number two. Number two. Me, the ultimate Karen, the whole voice of the narcissistic journalism.
Simmer's been drinking. Easy for you to say.
Taylor Lorenz. Let's talk about Taylor Lorenz. Who knows Taylor Lorenz?
I don't know who Taylor Lorenz is.
Taylor Lorenz is?
Taylor Lautner, on who that is, but Taylor
I
Lorenz.
probably live under a rock.
Lorenz is a bus line in Minnesota.
She used to write about tech and social media in the New York Times and the Washington Post, etc. By any fair measure, she's a social media sensation. She has over 500,000 follows on TikTok and other 500,000 combined between Twitter and Blue Sky, which is the new kid on the block. And now she has a Substack readership where she promotes COVID-19 paranoia and the hatred of healthcare CEOs. She's excited about traditional journalism in August after she posted what she claimed was an obvious meme calling Biden a war criminal. Then she got called out for saying she felt joy after the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, which she now says was dubiously edited, and she can usually be found wearing a mask and criticizing those who don't, as raw dogging the air and spewing disease-laden breath over elderly neighbors. She is still, and I just saw her, still wearing a mask, still crying about COVID, probably been jabbed, I don't know how many times, all over every orifice that she's got.
Bruce,
I'm still stuck on raw dogging. Can we go around that one and just keep moving?
I was thinking of something else about raw dogging.
Bruce, she doesn't believe a word of that. She's acting.
Yeah.
She doesn't believe a word of it.
I don't care about her at all. I don't know anything about her, nor do I care.
And that's all we have to say about Taylor Lorenz?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
she's... Way to pick... Could you pick a more obscure reference lost on younger viewers?
How about this? Let's begin bipartisan strategy, both left and right, for that find NBC Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski super annoying, and I'm practically the founding member of the Joe. It's the Joe Caucus. Until recently, that was the most conservative clique. They spent years saying awful things about the president-elect Trump and other conservatives. Scarborough lies about President Biden being coherent and earned him the worst quote of the year from the Media Research Center. Scarborough told the audience that this version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. He threw in a fuck you for good measure, and remarkably, both he and Biden are still employed. After that lie, Morning Joe Twosome paid a visit to the Trump and alienated the far left base, with Scarborough telling viewers they need to grow up, and their ratings have gone anywhere but up ever since. And MSNBC had to add another host and a lefty loon, Keith Olbermann, who I think is probably number one.
Is he back? Is Keith Olbermann back now? Oh, for God's sake. He is back.
But that's what it is. I mean, that's the number one duo right there.
Keith Olbermann makes Alex Jones look sane.
I'm telling you what, man, Keith Olbermann, for who he was, who I remember him being, was the booyah guy, along with a couple of other sportscasters on ESPN, because that's basically where he came from, was ESPN. That's where he got his start. As far as
is that like a network of
you non-sporto guys wouldn't even know anything about that, because you guys have no sport in you. So I mean, it's unfortunate that you know that you don't know the Ken Olbermann that I knew.
Yeah, well, we like girls, so why would we?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not even going to start. I'm just going to let that all go.
You're going to let that all go.
If it wasn't for homophobia, there'd be no fucking football.
If there wasn't for us freaking teasing each other, if there wasn't for us teasing each other, there'd be no show, guys. There'd be no show. There'd be no intertwining between all of us. I mean,
See, Bruce likes intertwining with other guys.
That's his problem.
That's called scissoring, I think.
Coming from a guy that doesn't get laid, that doesn't surprise me. So, anyhow,
I feels that one hard.
Any last words, guys, before we go and and call it a 2024 wrap.
Bruce, I'll give this a shout out for you and for Christian and for Jason. Thank you for joining us on this journey. It's it's the end of the year. It's a fun year. We're gonna make next year even better, and we'll just more shows, more craziness, more lunacy, and hopefully some Patreon subscribers and some YouTube subscribers and Rumble and Twitch and whatever kind of itch that we have. Go follow us and go share the show and tell your friends about it. Tell your friends they need to listen to 5 episodes because you're not going to get 2 episodes that are the same. No. We do a lot of different shit, and you're going to like it. If you want to hear us as 15-year-old boys that have had like 1 beer too many, like Bud Talls, and talking about shit in the locker room, that's what the Twitter show is in the mornings. It's the Morning View, and there is no filters whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
It's bad enough that Christian doesn't join us because he's too Christian for this.
He's too Christian for us. Yes.
I'm not awake. I try not to be conscious then.
See, I'm usually at work. What is it? 8 o'clock in the morning, my time. So I'm 2.5 hours into work by that time.
Bruce, you and me are driving in, just carrying the show.
I'm just carrying the show. So what I hear when I drive in is Jason doing essentially what he's doing is like pulling packing tape, like in the back.
Yeah. Okay. So that one time, yes, I was really busy shipping out mugs because mugs for Christmas for me are really, really, really busy. Yes.
Exactly. Yes, this is exactly what it sounds like.
And I have the exact tape dispenser too, but I bought a new one. I actually upgraded to a much better tape dispenser.
There you go.
So it makes less noise now. But yeah, so that one, those few episodes was just because it was getting close to Christmas and mugs sell a lot for me.
Yeah, there you go. You got to keep the money rolling, right?
Oh yeah, and last year I was unprepared. I only had, I think I only had 100 mugs, and I ran out. And this year I had close to 200, so I didn't run out.
There you go. Well, speaking of keeping the money rolling, I mean, if you really want to keep there you go. Ken Madden, madstudio.com. His book 2, The Eccentric.
Even Mad K Studio,
which I had just given my daughter for Christmas. And
how'd you like it?
Oh, she loves it. She loves it. So
cool.
Yeah. She's definitely an artsy fartsy person. She's learning how to crochet. She does bead art. She does coloring. She does.
My daughter's the same thing.
Yeah, obviously. But we need money, so go to patreon.com/weathersoul and give us some money. Give us some money. We're looking for money. We're always looking for money. Christian, go ahead. This is your spiel.
Don't
buy us a beer.
Give us money. Come and hang out with us. This is the time where you can come and hang out with us and just see us as we are in the moment. And, we try to be reasonable for our reasonable guests. And that's why I don't talk much, because I'm trying to be reasonable. But the post show is where you get to really see the real us. So show up, join Patreon, come and hang out. It's the after party that you all want to be at.
Right. We try to let our hair down, everybody but Jason, because he doesn't have any. So
it you know what? It takes me way too long to straighten my hair out to let it down.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep up the average.
You are.
We appreciate that. All my hair does is let me down. So, what am I going to do?
Mine too. And I used to have a lot of hair, a full head of hair. And then I was in a phase back in the mid 2000s where
perms? You got perms, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I did not. Nope. Sorry. This was, so I dyed it black once. And then I decided I wanted to go red. So I had to bleach it. And then I dyed it red. And then I dyed it blue. And then I dyed it green. And then I wanted it black again. So I had to bleach it again. And it didn't turn out blonde enough. So I bleached it again a day later.
And then it all fell out.
And I went to go wash my hair, and hair was all over my hands. It was breaking off, and it never grew back.
There you go. That's what happens when you have blue hair.
I don't ever tempt the hair gods because they've been kind to me.
They've been very, very good to you. Yes.
But I will say this, Jason, there are times where the hair gods will just tell you to fuck off.
And they did. And they did. They massively did. When my hair was falling out in the shower and breaking off as I was washing it, I'm like, yeah, this isn't good. And it never grew back.
Jason, do you have your cue cards up?
I do.
Plug yourself.
Okay. Well, not in front of people. That's we got to put the warning sign up first. Oh wait, sorry, I don't understand. Never mind, keep going.
What's Ken doing?
Nothing.
Okay. It's not that kind of plug.
Thank goodness.
All right.
So wait, what does the handle look like on your tape dispenser?
Ooh, that must hurt.
It does. It's ribbed for her pleasure.
There you go. You make with the 3D
printer,
okay. You make plug shaped tape dispensers.
No, I just make plug.
Make Mr. Jamingo happy right now.
Okay, I'm Jason from Horrible Designs. I sell mouse pads, t-shirts, coffee mugs, tumblers, vinyl decals, can koozies, drink coasters for your house and for your car, magnets, frosted shot glasses, and soon to be 8-ounce lowball glasses that are frosted, as well as stickers. Not only do I sell the stuff you can find on my site, I also do work with custom orders as well. You can find me on my website at horribledesigns.com, or you can also find me at Amazon Handmade, Walmart.com, eBay, Etsy, TikTok Shop, and Michael's Maker Place. I am also going to start working with social media influencers to allow them to make a bit of money, as well as offer a discount to their followers. If you were interested in that, please reach out to me.
So you're an OnlyFans guy.
It's a mushroom, guys. You all have a dirty mind. It's a mushroom growing by a lake.
The mushroom head, yes.
I don't know what you were thinking it was.
So Jason's going to have an OnlyFans.
Not an whole nother version of Inktober. That's a whole nother version of Inktober.
Yeah, it's called Dinktober. It's a thing.
Dinktober. There you go.
Go, Ken.
All right. MaddKstudios.com, MaddKstudios.com, your one-stop shop for all of your artwork needs. I do commissions. I've got original paintings on there and prints. The new coloring book series. This is book 2. There's book 1 as well. These are all based on Inktober. Fabulous books for adult coloring, and they're not adult themed. They're just more of for adults. So anyway, MaddKstudio.com, and go check that out.
Dude, what's up?
I don't really got anything. All the stuff I do outside of this needs to stay separate from this.
He's the producer.
Yeah. I will.
You've got a sweet Jeep. You can talk about your Jeep.
Yeah, I get Jeep stuff. I'd love to talk Jeep stuff.
Yes.
But one more time, I'm going to invite all of you. Hey, it's me, the producer. Come join us. These after show parties can get to be even more fun if you all sit and join us. I really hope the whispering is coming through. I don't know if my mic is sensitive enough. Anyway, great. Thanks. And if you really want to, we're going to open up a higher tier on Patreon where we'll spend more time sitting in front of the fire, enjoying a beverage.
And I'm Bruce. Bruce McGee, weathersoul.com. I'm the curator, the host, along with these other jokers here who are co-hosts of the Weather Report. And we want to thank you for being here. Like, share, and subscribe wherever you're at. YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, wherever you guys are at. Go to patreon.com/weathersoul, and you can go over there and you can sign up for our Patreon page. We got all kinds of cool stuff that is going to be going on. We're just gonna celebrate the New Year's with you and say, hey, goodbye 24 and hello 25. We'll see you guys later. Have a great time. and be good to yourself.